Hello and welcome to BKTV Live. Today is October 14th, 2022. I'm Jace Dennison.
And I'm Jack Tony. We've got an outstanding lineup for you today, starting with coverage of Mr. Johnson and the new Root Ed program, hot takes predictions on the World Series,
Homecoming and fan favorite, What's Cooking. But before all that, let's roll that intro. New this year at Farmington, we have a program called Root Ed, focused on seniors' plans after high school.
Nate, Caden, and Mark sat down with Mr. Johnson, the Root Ed advisor, to find out more about this new program.
Root Ed is a program designed to make sure that seniors in high school have a clear path and a clear plan for what they're going to do after high school. And that could be for students who are going to attend college, going to attend some kind of technical training, or possibly students who are going to join the military. So any path that you want to go on, we make sure you get from high school down that path smoothly. I'm the Root Ed advisor here at Farmington High School. Every school that's a Root Ed school has a Root Ed advisor who works with seniors. As the advisor, I advise students. So I meet with students, I meet with seniors in high school as often as I can. We have 307 seniors, so I meet with students roughly once a quarter throughout the school year. I think students in these areas aren't exposed to the same kind of industry that students might be in a larger area like a St. Louis area. So I think meeting with someone every day to remind them of what possibilities are out there and kind of stay on them all the time. Our counselors here are great, but there are 4 of them for 1,200 students here. And so I think having an extra person who can one-on-one meet with the seniors regularly and kind of keep tabs on what their progress is, I think that really takes a burden off of them. And I think it's really good for students to know that they've got some single person to go to when it comes to what they're going to do after high school. A lot of students, first of all, think they're not going to go to college, and by the time I'm finished talking with them, they may decide they are going to go to college. One of those things is due to the FAFSA. Some students don't realize that if they complete a FAFSA, there's a good chance they might qualify for a federal Pell Grant to go to college. And when they find out how much money they can get through a Pell Grant, they rethink things and think, well, maybe I will try to attend college because I can go for a lot less cost than I originally thought. A lot of jobs may not require college, but they might require some kind of training. We have students who are interested in being truck drivers, which make a very good living, but there is some training in place afterwards. Most jobs that are going to pay above a middle-class income or middle-class or better income require at least some sort of post-secondary training. Another option that a lot of students like is trade unions. So if somebody wants to become an electrician, we'll put them on the right path to become that. If they're not already getting that information from Unitech, I can set them up with the right path to become an apprentice electrician someday.
We spoke to seniors here at FHS and got their input on how Mr. Johnson has helped them decide and pursue what they want to do after high school.
He gave me a lot of resources. He talked to a lot of the teachers about what I wanted to do as well. Got them linked up, doing whatever they're doing, so that was pretty good.
He told me some stuff that I didn't know before about like classes you can take in college, and you can like take your prereqs also at the same time as you're taking classes for what you want to do.
He provided me with links through email. He talked to me about the FAFSA and sent me the link to fill that out and other links to research colleges and find the one that fits me.
If you are a senior and want to meet with Mr. Johnson, you can email him at jdjohnson@farmington.k12.mo.us or visit him down in the counseling center.
Thanks, guys. And if you have any questions or concerns about your plans after high school, email Mr. Johnson.
Next up, we have Justice and Coop in this year's first edition of Hot Takes. They sit down with Coach Hain and Coach Johnson to give their predictions for the upcoming World Series.
What's up, Black Knight Nation? Welcome to Hot Takes. I'm Coop, and I'm here with Justice, baseball assistant coach Johnson, and our head coach right here, Coach Hain. And today we're going to be discussing our World Series predictions. And Justice, I'll let you kick it off.
Oh, so for my pick, I got the Cardinals and the Yankees. And the Cardinals are going to win in 7.
Ooh, it's got to go to 7, right?
It's got to go to 7. Revenue, man.
Got anybody doing good or just...
Aaron Judge already has like 60-something home runs. Albert Pujols, he's on top of the world right now, so...
I got the New York Mets and the Seattle Mariners. Don't give me that. I think New York Mets are the best team in baseball. But the Dodgers, sure, their record might be good, but the New York Mets have a loaded pitching rotation and the best closer in the game, Edwin Diaz, and their lineup is stacked. And the Mariners, they're just electric, and I see them making a run. But I see the Mets winning in Game 6.
I'm going to take the Dodgers to win it all. Okay. You want to talk about revenue. New York will be playing them in the World Series. So you have a New York, L.A. World Series game. But ultimately, I went with the Dodgers because their run differential is 364 plus 364, which is 150 points better than anybody else in the entire major league. So when you look through run differentials, that's a huge stat. That's over a run a game, better than any other team in the entire major leagues. Not to mention that the NL West is a pretty solid division, and they're doing that against the NL West. So I will take the Dodgers, and because it is a money thing, it will go 6 games.
I didn't pick any number of games or anything. I kind of looked at the new playoff format, and I think it's going to be hard for a wild card team to come all the way through because they're going to have to play potentially 3 extra games that the number 1 and 2 seed are going to have to play. So I kind of had 2 depending on who gets the number 2 seed in the National League. I feel like if the Braves can take the Mets, they'll go to the World Series and play Houston, and Houston will ultimately win that game. But if the Mets hang on to the number 2, I think, because the number 2 seed in the National League is getting the easier way out. Then the Dodgers are going to have to play probably the Braves, which is the second best team, I feel like, in the National League. So, but if it ends up being Houston and the Dodgers, I think the Dodgers will take it.
So you've got the cheaters winning.
Yeah.
The cheaters are going to win.
They're going to take it. Unfortunately,
I hope the cheaters lose in the first round.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, they're the
Cardinals
hot
are
team.
going to win. So.
They're the hot team going in. They're 22-8 in their last 30 games, and I think
Yeah.
that says something for.
It's not about how you
right
start,
now.
it's about how you finish.
Right.
Don't sleep on Cleveland. They're 9-1 in their last 10
they
games.
are, and they just clinched the division.
They
so,
did.
I mean,
And there's no way they could lose that division, even if they just kind of take a break here till the end, I think. So they were my team to play, to beat Seattle and beat the Yankees.
If the season ended today, the Cardinals would be okay because they get to play Philly, and they will, and St. Louis will be happy.
I like Philly a lot.
You may like them, but the Cardinals will beat them in that wild card round, and St. Louis will be happy. But then, of course, the Mets will take them.
Yeah, no, I think the Cardinals are going to win this, but I don't know. I think it's scripted a little bit. Got to make the 3 Hall of Famers go to the World Series for the last season, but
That would be nice, but they're not playing very well right.
I guess we'll see. That'll be all for episode 1 of Hot Takes. Make sure to tune in next week and like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.
Now for this week's Stuff That Matters, the segment where we give you insight and context into the world's happenings.
Our first story is about the continued war in Ukraine. Russia has recently begun stepping up its attacks on Ukraine. In recent times, the attacks have been more focused on civilian population centers, and these attacks are resulting in more civilian casualties. Russia is continuing to commit blatant war crimes, leading to the UN calling for investigations and Western nations giving more support and funding.
Connected with the ongoing war in Ukraine, Russian hacker groups have been attacking airports, businesses, and government agencies. These attacks have affected our local communities. St. Louis's Lambert International Airport was attacked recently. These attacks have caused delays and some panic. The issues are affecting airports across the countries, as well as intelligence agencies and the Department of Justice.
Our next story concerns gas prices. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries Plus, or OPEC Plus, is a cartel of 13 oil-producing countries, mostly in the Middle East. OPEC Plus has announced plans to cut the production of all oil. This will likely result in higher gas prices globally. Russia is an OPEC ally and the second largest oil exporter after Saudi Arabia. Some argue that higher gas prices will help Russia fund its war on Ukraine.
Our good news for this week is concerning one of the biggest pumpkins ever recorded. The record-breaking pumpkin weighed in at over 2,500 pounds. Travis Ganger is the farmer who grew the pumpkin, and he is excited to take his place in the record books. For a story of the bizarre, we have a scandal that has shaken the Fat Bear Week competition in Alaska. The competition is held every year, and people may vote on the best fat bear. The contest, which usually goes off without any problems, has been found to have ballot stuffing occur. The false votes caused a bear to win who did not actually deserve the title, thus prompting the Park Service to crown a new winner of the Fat Bear Week contest.
Fat Bear Week is a fun new fall tradition I can get into. Another awesome fall tradition is our annual homecoming parade in downtown Farmington. Dighton Keith Kennan gives us a closer look at why so many participate in the homecoming tradition.
One of the longest standing traditions in Farmington, Missouri is the homecoming parade, and here's why.
The first time I was in the parade that I remember was last year. I was on the BKTV float, and much to Miss Southern's dismay, I will be with theater this year instead. I told her that they kind of have to split custody of me. Sort of like thrust into it last year, because Miss Southern, like out of the blue, sort of decided like, hey, let's do a parade float. And she asked on Google Classroom, like, who wants to be in it, you know? So I said that I would be in it, and it was fun. The parade is important because it's sort of a celebration of just like all the clubs and beyond just school, just everything that the community of Farmington does.
We're with Help the Hungry. This year, Help the Hungry Bake Sale. This is our 17th year, and we're trying to bake it to 1 million. So we thought this would be a great opportunity to share all the information with the public.
Also, we have the bake sale, which is coming up November 19th, and we have little flyers that we pass out to let the public know when we're going to have these events.
You can't beat this weather. I mean, it's rare that we have the perfect day for a parade, but today is the perfect day.
It was great to see such an awesome turnout for the parade this year, and we couldn't have asked for better weather, Jack.
The weather has been awesome these last few weeks. You can really tell that fall is in the air.
Absolutely. And rounding out our show this week is another fall tradition as the crew from What's Cookin' does some apple picking. That's all we have for this week. Thank you, Sam and Chris. For BKTV, this has been Jace Dennison.
And Jack Tony. Be sure to check back next week for the next installation of
BKTV Live.
That